What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Joe here with Mr. Kramzer, doing a little review session for an album that came out 8 days ago. We're a little behind the times. Take a little break-ish on the channel lately. We haven't been doing much, but we're doing something right now. We're gonna do M83's new album, Fantasy. It is their ninth album. And first in a while, they had a soundtrack or something, DS7 in 2019. But the last like real album was all the way back in 2016, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's been 7 years since we had a proper M83. They had junk out that year. And it's been 12 years or so since Hurry Up We're Dreaming, which kind of established them as players back in 2011. So time is rapidly passing. We got a new album to review from them. What'd you think of the new one, Fantasy?
Well, I'm a pretty big M83 fan. They have made or at least flirted with a lot of my album of the year list. Had some songs, hit songs of the year list, seen them live. And I think this one was kind of M83 formula, not a lot of big twists, turns, reinventions, or surprises. And I am totally okay with that. I thought it was great. 4 stars for me. It's one of my favorites of the year so far. Their stuff is just so pleasant. Everything, if you just take everything simplified down, the keys always sound great. Everything's like got this cool, like hopeful relaxation to it. It's dreamy. When the vocals come in, they sound great. It's like a big form of escapism, and the musicality's there. So yeah, right off the bat, I'm leading off saying I think it's great. I think it's a simple album for them, but it's like, especially 7 years missing, it's just what you want.
Well, it's not what everybody wants. It's not really what I want. I like it, but I'm wanting more. I really like Junk because it sort of subverted the normal M83. Like, it was just songs. There was no theme behind it. It was just a bunch of good songs, some cool guest stars. Like Steve Vai had a ridiculously cool guitar solo. And that, like, I liked that leap from them. This one seems like it's kind of a combination of their old stuff, a little bit of like that soundtrack ambient kind of vibe. Because I mean, there's 13 tracks here, and maybe like three of them feel like actual songs to me. The first two tracks, Waterdeep, Oceans, Niagara. I mean, they're nice. They have some song elements. There's some structure, some choruses, some verses. Then the third track, Amnesia, I think is the best on the whole album. It's got this great Hold Your Fire era guitar tone, which is awesome. Got the classic M83 synths and the back and forth male female vocal dynamics. Great. I think Gonzalez's vocals are a little puny sometimes. Like they're nice and they're pleasant, but they don't have a lot of fire. So that kind of more resonant female vocal, I think, adds a lot to it. And then after that, it's just like set piece after set piece. It's like a wide angle landscape shot, just continually. And like it's just like a bunch of those throughout. Like there's nothing really happening. There's nothing really going on. It's sort of like vaguely triumphant, vaguely like uplifting, vaguely childhoodish. But I don't know. I'm just missing like a one or two more songs. Like I want something else, like some kind of single-ish track on there. Earth to Sea, I think, sort of fits that bill. Got some nice popcorn guitars. But as a whole, I think it's just like less than the sum of its parts for me. Like it sounds great. The production's obviously phenomenal. The singing is good. Like everything is exactly how they want it to sound. I just don't love it. I'm missing something from this whole experience. And I like it, but I listened to it 3 or 4 times and I just never like got into it to the point where I'd really want to put this on again. So I'm gonna go like a low 3.5. It's 3.5 because it sounds great and it's a good band. M83 is a great band, but I'm wanting something here.
Yeah, I don't hear it that way. I think the songs stand out individually. I don't think like it all blends together like a like a film score or anything. I think it stands out. I think it's subdued and spread out, but in a good way. You get kind of like those less cluttered big city vibes that you get on like Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. Like you're not going to get Midnight City on this album or anything. It's much more serene than that. I love Oceans, Niagara. When those big hits come in, it's so epic. And like I don't think there's anything vague about this album. I think it's heroic sounding, triumphant. The keys just sound so good. I mean, the strength, the flex of this album is just how good it sounds. Amnesia is great. So I think the high points are pretty much the same for me as they are for you. Everything has like that whimsical John Hughes, everything will be okay in the end, kind of warm vibes, which I like. Like I listen to this album and I see like these landscapes in like an 80s VHS kind of filter. Like it's just the sound is just perfect. It's tailored right to me. I really like Us and the Rest. You get those big drum ballad kind of sounds I like. I also noted flickering guitar, very 80s new wave with a touch of Alex Lifeson. Like I just love that guitar tone. So I'm with you there. But I just love how you can sink into this without it being really mellow. I think it has stuff that gets your blood pumping. It's got like that dreamy escapism that's so profound in their sound. You get, I think there's dynamic songs. Like you get that soft version with Radar Far Gone, with just kind of woodsy and rustic with the piano and the acoustic guitar, but still has like that classic M83 like urethral hymn or a synth hum in the background. I think Deceiver has really cool like groove and bass on it, and then it kind of drifts off in the end with a more haunting fashion. So I think they're subtly kind of just like painting the edges around these songs really well. Like just cool 80s show wave kind of stuff. I think Sunny Boy is like this really cool kind of futuristic romper. Cool knew it as this cool like trippy robo disco hypnotism to it. So I think there's a lot of dynamic song to song. The feeling kind of starts and ends the same way, but I think musically it kind of bounces around. But you're right, like those triumphant heroism and like every song sounds like you're just like this overlooking the Grand Canyon, just like whoa, like I'm an explorer, like with this song going on in the background. But I thought it was great. It is right up my alley, and maybe for the next one they'll try to get a little bit more experimental with their sound. But I'm pretty satisfied with this, just start to finish a great listen for me.
For me, every song sounds like I have a visual when I'm listening to this of just like a overhead like drone shot looking down upon like the heroes like discovering like life or like the city they're looking for. Like it just that's like the only thing I get though. Like I want like where's them fighting for survival? Like it just all feels like that last like triumphant, Spielberg-esque shot or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I liked it more the second time I think I heard it, and then the third time I was like, kind of blending together. But there's some cool stuff. I mean, Amnesia Fantasy has a cool disco bass line, and then Sunny Boy has a little more like storminess to it, and it kind of that and cool knew it. Get some anger in the vocals, maybe from Kayla. I don't know who Kayla is, but they guessed on it, so maybe they add that like little extra fire to it. But I'll give it another shot before the year ends. I would say Amnesia is currently in my top, 10, 15 songs of the year. So I'll come back to it at some point.
Well, that's good. That's a decent showing.
Yeah, I like M83. Junk was on my top five, and obviously Midnight City was song of the year for me back in the day, and you, both of us, yes. So there you go. Fantasy M83, 4 stars from Kramzer, 3.5 from me. Solid album. If you like M83, I'm sure you'll like this one as well. So that's it. Let's see your reviews down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., etc. You can support the channel. Subscribe to us on Patreon. Become a patron on Patreon. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.